All right. So, good morning, everybody, and welcome. I guess it's afternoon. It's 12 o'clock here in the Pacific Northwest, and I believe in Arizona as well for you.
Yes.
This is Gertrude Hsu. For any of you who don't know who she is, but I bet you do know who she is because she's fabulous. So, we're
Thank you.
here. We're here today, and we're going to talk about mysticism. But I have to tell you, um, we're going to talk about two or three drops of mysticism in an ocean of information. so, that's the way I want to put it because there is so much that we couldn't talk about all of it today. So, Gertrude and I have decided that we're going to come together maybe once a month and we're going to do pieces of it and learn ourselves about it and share those learnings or those teachings with you. So I'm so happy to start this with you, Gertrude, and look forward to us becoming more enlightened.
Yes.
Yes. So, Mousy girl, I'm so happy to see you here. And happy birthday, my dear. I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh, my goodness. Why don't you put down in the chat that you would like a reading? Because after we talk a little bit about mysticism, we'll be pulling some cards. So go ahead and do that. I want you top of the list. If you want one, you don't have to have one, but it's your birthday. So, and here's Bernie Girl and Sandy Miller. Thank you,
Mila.
Sandy. And Fatima, nice to
Yeah.
see you too. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh my God, I was telling Trudy that I found this book that I had read by Evelyn Underhill called Mysticism, and oh wait a minute, Whew, I just got dizzy. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, I'm okay now. But I bookmarked some things to bring up from this book, and then I also got some other stuff that I had found online. But I do want to highlight the fact that how many years were you in the monastery, Gertrude?
11 and half. Yeah.
11 and a half years. So Trudy was a Carmelite nun in Malaysia and
Yes.
was there for 11 and a half years. And remember, when you're a nun, yes, you interact some with, with others, but a lot of it is very quiet, right? Very
Yes.
internal, internal.
Yes.
So when Trudy mentioned the other day that she really wanted to focus her channel more on mysticism, I was really, really excited for her because um, she's the perfect candidate to do that. And she's working with masters. She does some channeling with them. And, her experience has led her to knowledge of oneness with the creator and learning more about different iterations or parts of mysticism. So that's what brought us together. Yes. So here we are. So thank you for being with me, Trudy. All right. Mousy, I got you. All right. So we got, oh, yes, Jill. I just saw they're trying to get rid of Kevin McCarthy in the
Yeah.
Congress right now. Oh, what a mess. It's like they waste more time doing this kind of silly stuff. I don't know. They just don't get it. But anyway. So thank you, Jill. Hi, Glow. Glow, I think, yep, you're from Hawaii. Nice to see you. Hi, Randy. Hi, Craig, Michelle. And yeah, welcome, everybody. All right. So, Mousy, we will do a reading for you when we get to that part. I got you first. So you're all set. And happy birthday again to Mousy Girl. Yeah. Oh, Randy, you're in Moab? Oh,
I have never heard of that.
what do you think? I love it there. I really
Ah,
love it there.
yeah, he says beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes, yes,
Jane,
yes.
the secret Toro. I'm studying Sufism.
I know.
That's great.
Jane, I hope you got some Rumi and some Hafiz because Sufism is fabulous. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Jane. Yeah, we'll probably at some point talk just about Sufism, and we're going to also talk about other sects, sects of of mysticism. So, okay, Morgan. Just so you know, we're going to talk a little bit about this, please, and also Randy, and then we'll definitely do the readings for you. Hi, Rondell. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. All right. And Jane, I'm excited you're studying that. All right, Rondell, I got your question. Hi, Debbie. No? Yes. Okay. So, a couple of things I wanted to bring up first was that most of us, at least, I mean, I know there are some people here that they conform to a certain religion, that they believe that they are a religious person, and they can be a religious person and still be a person who's interested in other things. Then there are the spiritual people who sort of don't have a specific religion that they follow, but they are, and I would say that I am both spiritual and a wannabe mystic. And I think Trudi is definitely spiritual and is a mystic, but that's okay. It's just words. It's just words at this point, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. I was schooled in Carmelite nuns for 5 years.
So there is a difference between Carmelite nuns and discalced Carmelite. Carmelite
Okay.
nuns, they teach, discalced Carmelite is enclosed. So yeah, so I was in the monastery,
Okay.
order of Carmelite discalced.
Okay. Okay. Well, um, I feel we're all mystics. I agree with you,
Yeah.
Randy. People that are here have that ability. So here is a definition: a union or absorption into the deity of the absolute, or the spiritual apprehension of knowledge inaccessible to the intellect, may be attained through contemplation and self-surrender. So in Trudy's case, she allows herself to work with the collective that she works with, and she gives herself over in order to bring that information through. In other words, she hasn't learned the information by going to school and reading a book, let's say, and then talking about it. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just that as you move up and your vibration moves higher. Am I describing that right, Trudy? Do you think? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
So I arrived at this mysticism when I was at the Carmelite monastery.
Okay.
Yeah, meditation and then moving into infused contemplation.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
was yeah, I entered when I was 17, and then I entered into infused contemplation when I was 21, and that was really early. I mean, 4 years and
I
none.
agree. Yeah.
So when I told the mother prioress that I was experiencing what we call the prayer of quiet, she didn't believe it.
Ah.
Yeah, because it's usually the old nuns.
Old nuns. Yeah.
And then recently I watched a video by the Indian mystics, and then I understood why. So someone was telling Ramana Maharishi that this girl is so young and she could go into samadhi. And Ramana said, but how old is she really? What he meant is other reincarnation,
That's right. Your
And
soul
then
is a lot older. Yes.
I understood how I could get into mysticism, at that young age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you were primed for it, really, Trudy. You came here for this. And the interesting thing was that you did that for 11 and a half years, and then you did other things. And did you do any kind of mystical work?
No, meditation. I
just
kept
meditation.
Meditation and then shadow work.
Okay.
And I didn't realize I didn't call it shadow work, I just call it stripping the layers until I reached the genuine self, which I found out is shadow work.
Yep, it is shadow work. Yeah.
And then it all comes to a head after that event, which I'm really grateful now. I call it that night of the soul. It pushes me into this path.
Right.
Fast track me onto this path.
Yep. So what is really fascinating to me is that most religions have a mystical sect. In the Muslim religion, it's the whirling dervishes, the Sufism.
Yes.
There was a man named Rumi who was a poet, and he would whirl doing a whirl, and he would write poetry while he was in the midst of it. So he believed he was accessing that from divine source. And then um, there's other ones, of course, and you know about them because you've studied them: Saint John of the Cross,
Yes.
Hildegard of Bingen, Saint Teresa. There's just a whole bunch in the Christian community. And then we also have the same thing in the Hindus. We
Yeah.
have the same thing in the Buddhists. But every type of mystical section, they have more in common than the religions do.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're all working for that higher attainment, or enlightenment status.
Yeah.
Feeling it. We were talking a little bit about the fact that a lot of people believe that they will, when they reach enlightenment, that's the end of the work. If you ever have a mystical experience, you think, oh, well, I'm all set now. But it isn't something that you can maintain all the time, unless you are sort of cloistered away. And I think that there are some people that are, but when we live in this world that we live in and have to do the daily duties of, getting ready and are taking care of our animals and going to the grocery store, we may not be in that state of mind, although it can happen. It's certain. I mean, there are no hard and fast rules really about mysticism, and that's what makes it so beautiful, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So they describe the difference between spirituality and mysticism in this way. Spiritual phenomena are not considered to be self-existing, but attest to a superordinate role by a creator who transcends them. In other words, we have a belief that there's a higher source than us, and that we sort of believe that's how we got here. So there's a God element here. And the distinction between the spiritual and the divine is a little like he's one level up. Let's put it that way. Mystics content themselves with inferring the divine from experiences of the spiritual. So they are able to interact with that higher being and become one with it, and also um, pride themselves that they're able to see and do things. I'm thinking of like the stigmatas that people have had on their hands,
Yeah.
when you've seen that.
Yeah.
And there was a man named Sai Baba, and Sai Baba, he actually, I believe he was in India. He
Yeah.
would cry, and he would cry gold. His tears were made out of gold dust flecks. There's no explanation for that.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's just really interesting so what makes a person a mystic? This is just somebody else's opinion. You can certainly disagree with me. A person who claims to attain or believes in the possibility of attaining insight into transcending ordinary human knowledge by direct communication with the divine, or intuition in a state of spiritual ecstasy, a person initiated into the religious mysteries, which is where the word mysticism comes from.
Yes.
So, yeah. Wow.
Direct experience of the divine. That's why they have the same experience in all religions, because the experience is the same.
Right.
The divine.
Yep. That's right. So if you gathered up all the mystics from all the different religions, they're all working on the same thing. That's basically what, yeah. But, they may not agree. Like Buddhists don't have a God concept. In other words, this isn't that they don't believe in God. They just don't, he's not part of the mix,
Yeah.
and then you have, the Muslims who believe in, a different form of, savior, and the Jewish people, same thing,
Yes.
different thing. And, we could say that the mysticism of the Kabbalah, which is a Jewish tradition, is something a lot of people are very interested in learning about too. If they're Jewish or just because they're very, very interested in knowing what all the symbology and so on means. So, so what's a common trait of mystics or mystical experiences? I get a strong feeling of certainty that can't be expressed in words. What do you think about that? I know
Yeah.
you try to express them in words, but do you ever have a situation where you're in a trance or you're in a situation and you're in such a state of bliss, there's no words to describe it?
So
Does that?
it's interesting. Recently, I've been trying to work on trance channeling, so I get into a trance state.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
think instead of the trance channeling, I find myself transported into this experiencing oneness
Right.
with God. And then
Yes.
I sit there and like right now, I can just close my eyes and I go into it because it's the energy is very strong
Yeah.
and the pull is very strong. So I will try to describe. I find myself, because I'm channeling, I find
Mm-hmm.
myself describing it. And recently, the one word that kept coming in is immensity. Because,
Mm.
when I
Mm-hmm.
am in that, it's just this huge space
Yeah.
because it's formless. I don't
Yeah.
see anything, but I'm just
Yeah.
aware of this immensity.
That's a really good way of explaining it, Trudy. There's only been a couple of times in my life that I have felt what I would call at one with the creator and with the whole universe. And one of the times was when I was about 31 years old. I'd gone to Switzerland with my then husband, and we went up in a tram to the top of this mountain that overlooked a lake. And I just felt really light. And I didn't, maybe it was the air because the air is thinner on top of a mountain. I don't know, but it was like I had a totally different feeling about my experience. And I'm looking out at all this beauty and all of this immensity, I guess is the right word.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, the Swiss Air Force is flying over my head. Not to hit me, it was way up there, but it went and flew like two jets flew out over my head. And I went, wow. I mean, it was like everything combined itself to make for me a mystical experience where I felt like I was with the pilot, I was with God, I was with the land, I was with the water. And it didn't last a long time. It was kind of fleeting, but I'll never forget the feeling. I wanted to capture it and keep at it.
Well, I'm laughing now because, I share what I come to my mind this morning
Of
about.
course. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This is our show. Yes.
So I
Yeah.
was preparing for this, and then came this thing in my mind, and I thought I better sit down and write it. And so I wrote it. And this is so now you will affirm it. So what
Okay.
I wrote was about you is, I have no doubt you have experienced the mystical in your life. When you talk about spirituality, there's a glow on your face, a shining. And I have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Mystical
Mm-hmm.
experiences transform. I have no doubt at all that you have had transforming experiences in your life, not once, but many times. It leads you to be the person you are today, full of love, generous, and a big heart that embraces all, regardless of creed, background, or religion. You know,
Right.
I like that line. I have no doubt at all that you have had
Uh-huh.
transforming experiences, not
Yeah.
once, but many times.
That was probably the reason I remember that one so well, is because it was one of the first ones I had. And
Yeah.
I never would have imagined that I would attain that. And like you said, you were young when you had things happening to you, and 31 isn't that old. So I would say I was fairly young as
Yeah.
well. And
So,
so it's no wonder you and I understand each other.
so this is you were going into your second experience.
Was I going into it? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I thought you said that you have two experiences.
No, I've had others, but I don't remember them as much as that one because it was the first one I had. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's others if I could sat down and thought about them, but I'm really humbled by the idea that that was my first one because I felt like I could fly. Good thing I didn't decide to fly off the side of the mountain, but it was very empowering. Yeah.
Yeah. That is, and the thing with this is you know exactly where you were, how you
Yeah.
feel, like it
Yes.
happened yesterday. So
Correct.
that is one of the hallmark of those experiences.
Right. Right. And that was before I did any kind of study at all on religions or mysticism or any of that. It was a few years later. No, it was like, I'm sorry, it was probably about 10 or 15 years later that I learned about it. So this was just, I think it was the universe or God, the creator, just saying to me, prepare yourself because it's going to be an interesting ride. And so, it was a nice feeling. How about yourself? Can you remember any of the times that you felt beyond, you transcended, were transcended?
For me, the first strong experience was that before that I had nice meditation where I feel one with God. But the
Mm-hmm.
strong one was that time when for 4 days I just felt wrapped in God. This
Oh,
energy that took
wow.
me over completely. And
Wow.
because of that experience, I was able to stay in what St. John of the Cross called that contemplation. I
Mm-hmm.
go into meditation and
Right.
I could see I would just be held captive by
Sure.
this force,
Yes.
and it gets stronger and stronger. And recently, when I went into Indian mysticism, it
Mm-hmm.
became really strong.
Really strong. Okay.
Yeah. So now,
Wow.
when I go into meditation, very easily and very often, I will find myself wrapped into another zone,
That's
another
amazing.
sphere.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it's like 45 years of concentration on meditation. I never
Right.
let go of meditation.
Yep. Yep. That's really admirable. I have to say that when I've had meditative states, I've felt very enlightened, uplifted, but I don't have the time because I work so much so for me, it's like, I need more time off so I can do more meditating because when I do, I always feel better. I always feel better. It's such a, yeah. Callie's here. Kelly, she says, that's beautiful, Trudy. That's
Yeah,
great.
I had a
Yeah.
great time with Kali on my
Isn't she wonderful? She is
yeah.
so awesome. Yes. She's
It's
quite
a
the healer.
very, very
Yeah.
natural, genuine
Yes,
presence.
very much so. And hi, Kim. I see you're driving, so we'll all say hello to you. And Lottie's here, and Thomas is here, and Roseflower, and Marina had to leave, but Jeanette Kennedy, she says hi to you, Trudy. Rossi's here. Yeah. Thank you so much for all being here with Trudi and I. So, what we're doing is, for those of you who came in a little bit late, we're talking about the general idea of mysticism today. And then we're going to try to bring a monthly show with different styles of mysticism and different ideas about mysticism because it's really big. It's really, really big. It's a really big show, as Ed Sullivan would say, and if anybody remembers him. Anyway, it says that the awakening of the transcendental consciousness. And it comes from a psychological point of view, an intense form of the phenomenon of conversion, closely akin to deep and permanent conversions of the adult type that some religious psychologists call sanctification. I thought that was very interesting. That was on there. Um, so I'm going to put this aside for now, but I just want you to have an idea, everybody, what some of these other that you may not have considered that this is mysticism, and one of them is shamanism, the Native American
Oh, yeah.
shamanistic. Yeah, that
Yes.
is mysticism. Hi, Samantha. So, and then we have Western mysticism, the Eleusinian mysteries, the Greeks, and during that time, we had a lot of Greek gods and goddesses and stories and so forth. That's all mystical.
Yeah.
Of course, we have the Christian mystics, and we have people such as St. John of the Cross, Hildegard of Bingen, St. Teresa of Avila, um, Meister Eckhart. I mean,
Yes.
there's just
It's
so
big.
many of them. And each one of them I have read and learn
Ah,
something from. Yeah, oh, they're fabulous. I mean, I can't remember everything I've read because it's been so long, but when I found one, I had to find the other, and then the other, and then the other. I would say mysticism also would be Joan of Arc. Would you agree?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm,
and also, I saw Saint Francis of Assisi was listed. The way that he took care of the animals,
yeah.
he was quite mystical as well. Um, let's see who else. Uh, Oh gosh, they have a whole list of different people. We also have poets like William Blake out of the British tradition. We have psychologists like William James, who did the varieties of religious experiences. We have theosophy.
Yeah.
We have,
How
oh my God, it goes on and on. Doesn't it? Yeah,
yeah, how
Paul
young
Young,
is
right?
really
Yes,
fascinating. Yeah, he is
yeah.
amazing.
Uh-huh. And Mary Magdalene, thank you, Soul Spa. As a matter of fact, I pulled her cards out today. Yep. And so, yeah, so um, let's see. Then we have Jewish mysticism. We have Gnosticism, Transcendentalism, Theosophy, the Fourth Way, Neo Paganism, Transpersonal Psychology, Jewish mysticism, and the Jewish mystic of the prophetic Kabbalah. And I mean, that, and then we have Islamic mysticism, which is Sufism. Um,
Dao,
and
Taoism.
Taoism.
Yeah.
Thank you. Taoism, which I love Taoism. I actually love Taoism. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they made the I Ching,
Oh
which
yes, the
is a
itching.
whole other part of it. Yeah. We have Rumi. We have Hafiz. We have Omar Khayyam, the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, El Ghazali, and oh my God, it goes on and on with that. And then we have the Hinduism, and we have have you ever heard of the Mahabharata? And that's one of the Hindu texts. We have the Ramayana, and
Yeah.
we have the one most people have heard of. I can't think of it right now, but anyway, it's another one of their mystical books or mystical stories. And we have Tantra, and
Yeah.
Tantra is like, well, we have yoga and Tantra, right?
Yeah.
Um, see how many things there are, everybody. I mean, we'd be here for eons if we did everything today. Then we have Buddhism, and we have Taoism, and we have let's see, the Bhagavad Gita. That's the name of the book I
Yes.
want to remember. Okay, which is the Hindu.
Hindu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Um, Since the 19th century, mystical experience is a distinctive concept, and it's tied to mysticism, but lays sole emphasis on the experiential aspect, if it's spontaneous or induced by human behavior. And some mystics actually use different types of drugs. I mean, I don't, in order to do that. Some people feel that they could take like the Indians took peyote
Yeah.
in order to go into an altered. So there's altered states. Yes. Hi, Andrea, 54 Hector. Nice to see you. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to pick one thing, one mystical thing at a time as we go along in this journey with you all. And we invite you to, maybe what we'll do is we'll pick something and we'll tell you what it is ahead of time. And if you're interested in looking into it as well, then you can do your own research on it and if you come to the show, you'll understand a little bit more and it won't be completely foreign to you. So I don't want to be the one talking all the time. Is there anything else that I'm missing out on, Gertrude, that you want to say?
No. Oh, I see. Psychic medium Jordan Coburn. Yeah, thank you. Well, so I pick up this one this morning right from Google. A mystic is an ordinary person who does ordinary things and experiences these moments of profound union with the source. I like that very much. An
That's
ordinary
nice.
person.
Yes.
And you know,
Yep.
this I've been watching a lot of Gopi Krishna.
Uh-huh.
He's very interesting to watch.
He is.
And
Yes.
he said something which really makes me laugh, and I love it. He said many of the mystics or most of the mystics are poorly educated. And he said it leaves the mind free,
Yes.
to go to.
That's very true.
And
For
that
anything preconceived, because if you don't know anything about it and if it comes through and it's right, you're getting it from a divine soul. That's fabulous.
So it's one aspect of my life that I really think don't want to talk. I mean, don't want to expose too much about. Well, I had only education up till age 17 when I entered the monastery.
Right.
So when he said that, I laugh.
Yeah. No, but it so what's really important here from what you're saying to get out of this is you don't have to be brilliant. You don't have to be intellectual. Let's put it that way. And if it's ordinary people and living in an ordinary life, but having an extraordinary experience because they've opened themselves up to the ability to unite with the divine.
Yeah.
So anybody could do it if they wanted to. Yes.
And he says the intellect gets in the way.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because too much fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Randy, so what is intelligence? Well, there's different types, Randy. Of course, there's brains, intellect, but we also have emotional intelligence, and we have spiritual intelligence, and we have cultural intelligence. I mean, there's so many aspects of it, but we don't need it to be mystical or even spiritual, really. It's all part of what already exists that we just tap into.
Yeah, they have the native natural intelligence, those mystics. Because the Indian mystics that I follow closely, Sri Ramana Maharishi, and there's another one, Nisargadatta.
Yes.
They have very little education, but they can go into profound, explanation of the universe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Blows your mind, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's like, knowledge versus wisdom. That's true soul spa. Absolutely. And you can read all the books. That's why, to me, I did read all the books, and I know what other people have said, but I wanted to have that experience on my own, because you and I may have different experiences of mystical qualities. Yeah, it isn't just for one person. So, too much intellect does get in the way. This is why when I was talking about reading cards, a lot of people think they have to look at the book because that gives the answer, because they're not smart enough to figure it out themselves. The truth is that you don't need a book. You really don't. And it took me time to figure that out. So it's not, it's new to me, but you already know. And of course, cards are just used as tools for tapping into our own intuition and our own ideas. So isn't that crazy?
If Jordan Coburn is still around, he will say, Jordan Coburn. He always tells us, throw away the book. You look at the cards and and go with the first impression.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it frees you as well from feeling. So this is funny because when I started teaching, I had tons of notes that I took because I didn't want to do anything wrong. I wanted to remember everything. And after about 5 years of teaching the same class, I thought, I don't need these anymore. I've talked about this so many times. I don't need this anymore. And people would say, what are you going to talk about in class today? And I'd say, I don't know yet. I don't know. We'll talk about something. And we always get it done. We always got it done. But not everybody can do that. And I recognize that. But I felt it liberated me. It liberated me from feeling like I had to know all the correct answers all the time. And sometimes I would say, for instance, can somebody look this up for me? I can't remember the date or something like that. And you have everybody sort of coordinate and work together to figure something out. So, oh, this is true. Being the only artist in a family of intellects, this feels good. Yes, Karen, you are important. Artists, oh my God. Artists are just the highest form of mystics. Yeah, really, honestly. Yeah. Healers are. You know, it does take trust, Karen. Everything takes trust. But there are no mistakes. There's only missed takes. So you might do something and say, well, that wasn't correct, but next time I'll know better. So you missed out the first time. And I think that our teachers have, and maybe not for you, Gertrude, because you grew up in a different country, but here our teachers, they want you, or they wanted us only, to feel bad if we said something incorrect. No. Didn't you read the assignment? That kind of thing.
Yes, same.
Yeah. And it's, really picked on you. So nobody wanted to say anything because they were afraid the teacher would say, nope, wrong, that kind of a thing. So, yes, Rossi, you're absolutely right. It allows for new ideas to come into the forefront. Yes. I'm not saying that, intellectual pursuits are wrong or anything's wrong with them either. I couldn't say that and be a professor, but I do believe that we all have our own type of intelligence. Yeah.
But I come from a culture where education is everything. Education gets you out of everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So so
it does. It also it helps you to define what your strengths are. And I know when you went to the monastery, you weren't in a formal school, but you were learning all the time. So you can't really say that. Yeah, remember that.
Self-education is not like not the formal, but self-education.
Yeah.
Well, there's a short story when I was in school that I love very much. Okay. So there was the father wants the daughter to marry Max, who is well educated and works at a bank, but he couldn't understand why his daughter was fascinated with Sobel, who has very little education, but has books that fill from the floor to the ceiling.
Wow.
Yeah, it shows the intellect.
Yes.
One could be formally educated, but not intellectual even. But the other one, not formally educated, but it's actually the intellectual. That lesson always stays in my mind.
It does stay with us. And it's the same with Malcolm Little. His name is Malcolm Little. He was incarcerated. He ended up being Malcolm X, if you've ever heard of Malcolm X. Yeah. But he had been thrown in jail when he was young, and he hadn't gone to school. So he read all of the dictionary. And he learned all the words in the dictionary. And then he read all the books in the prison library. For what he wanted to do, that's what he needed to do. But that's all self-education. And people would say, what college did you go to? And he said, the College of Books.
That's a good one.
I know. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Oh, yes. You're so right, Thomas. Those who read the Cliff Notes miss noticing the nuance. Thank you. I agree. I'll tell my students, please read it. If you don't get it at all, you're welcome to look at them to see if that can help you, but don't bypass the story. You got to go directly to the story first. Yeah. Karen, that's it. Mysticism is this. So what we're doing, in a sense, is we are looking beyond what we see to tie into what we don't see, and in order to strengthen those muscles in our in our bodies or whatever, in our soul, in order to be able to know the answers to things. So wow, that's awesome. I love your story. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Jordan, thank you for signing up for my channel. I'm happy to have you, and you're welcome to come on my show anytime you want. There you go. So we ready to do a few readings? We've already gone 40 minutes, and I think we could go 40 more, but all right. So Mousy Girl, let's do a reading for you. All right. And these are called let's see, clairvoyant cards that I have, but I have other ones. So I guess she just wants a birthday reading. How about that? Ooh. So Mousy Girl, I get beauty. Embrace your beauty at every age, because the older we are, the more beautiful we are, because we are wise. And that's what we were talking about, the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Ask for help. You don't have to do anything alone. You can ask anybody to help you. And finally, you're a wise woman. Anybody that's of a certain age, and you said your birthday's today, you're 71, I really, really thank you. The wisdom of the crone, one of the strongest wisdoms there ever is. That's for you.
So I'm just going to pick up a spiritual message from Spirit.
Yeah.
You are not alone. We are here for you. We never left. Through all the sadness and loneliness, however, you cannot sense us near you or feel how much love we are sending to you. We are your family, friends, and guides. You never walk alone. We walk right beside you.
Oh, very nice. I have to tell you, I had a conversation with my husband this weekend, because I don't see him very often. And I feel, the distance is really hard. So we had a long conversation. And I said, what can I say to you that would bring you back to this conversation that we just had? Could you give me something to say that isn't going to make him go, oh, I don't want to talk about that, And he said, okay, I'll think about it. So he comes out of the shower and he says, I am not alone anymore. He really thought he was alone because he had been abandoned as a child. And I don't mean his parents left him somewhere, but what I mean is he realized that he had to take care of himself in a lot of ways. And every time I tried to reach out to help him, he said, I can do it myself, And I would be like, but I'm here, I can help, And so it was a big revelation for him. He said he had a real epiphany this weekend. So that was it. And when you said that, I thought, that's beautiful. That's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect. It really, really is. Yeah. I know time is a definite illusion. All right. Michelle would like a reading. Let me see what kind of wisdom I can pull for you. All right. I am pulling from the Buddha wisdom cards. And you got Padampa Senge, the cremation ground-dwelling tantric master. Woo. Be courageous. Anything life gives can be an inspiration. Look at that. That's beautiful. Just remember, nothing is forever. Remember that in both good ways and bad, and appreciate the moment. Trudi?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have this building blocks, higher
Mm.
power. So building blocks, higher power,
Mm.
and loyal heart. So how do you read that? I saw
So
it.
I would say she's got the building blocks that have helped her get to where she is right now. And the second one was
Higher power.
it's brought her to a higher power within herself. And last one.
Oh yeah, no, these three. Yeah, those are the three. So
Oh, I'm sorry. What one did I miss? What one did I miss? The middle one?
no, you got them all. The
Oh, okay.
yeah, loyal heart.
Loyal
Building
heart.
blocks with loyal heart.
So they're recognizing that she is loyal to her journey. She did the building blocks that brought her to a higher power.
The high power.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So Michelle, yes, you are working it and they notice it. Yep. How gorgeous. We have enough readings for today. Thank you, though. We got Morgan Savage. Okay, so we'll pull a card for you. Oh, you got the Royal Red Dakini. Ooh, beautiful. I know these symbols are probably something you're probably not used to, everybody, because these are Buddhist cards. But the message is so important because it says love is the most powerful force of all. So what you can see is that these are mystical cards from the Buddhist tradition, but every spiritual tradition says that love is the most powerful force of all, and not to ever forget it. But start with yourself. Start with yourself. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm picking up a spirit card. My mind is not working very well today.
That's okay because you're in the higher realms.
Yeah, I know.
That's all right.
I
It's
got
okay.
to meditation because I need help for my life, and then my head is like taking off.
It's what they call being an airhead. I'm like that all the time because I'm a Libra. Libras up their heads in the clouds. So no
Yeah, my
problem.
head
No
is
problem.
like okay. So be proud. It's time to celebrate all that you have achieved, all that you are, and all that you will become. Every once in a while, it's important to stop and acknowledge what you have achieved and to be proud.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. Oh my goodness.
coming from Catholic background, and
Uh-huh.
every time my sisters talk about pride being a sin, and I just wince, you know.
I know.
Yeah, so that is
Yep. It is it is, but at the same time we're always told don't be selfish, don't be selfish, don't be selfish. But who's going to take care of us if we don't take care of ourselves? And how can we take
yeah,
care of anybody else if we don't first take care of ourselves? So yeah, I love that message. It's an important one, and yeah, it's funny because your sister's listening to the tapes that are in her own head.
yes,
That's what it is. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So thank you, Morgan. Randy would like a card reading. It's not time yet. You go lay down. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know my dogs usually time me. That's why I do it in the bedroom now. If I
I
do
don't
it in the
blame you.
bedroom, around an hour, they will come and tell me it's been an hour.
Yes, they do that to me. Your dogs must be talking to my dogs. I don't know. All right. So I pulled one type of the Buddha card here, and I get objective, focused observation illuminates the truth. So I think that this has to do with meditation as well, Randy. So if you are sitting and you are, I don't know about you, but if you, people will say you can see people's auras if they're up against a white wall, and you don't want to cross your eyes, but you don't want to focus on anything. You kind of want to have your eyes out of focus. And that's what it's saying. It's if you get to that point where you're feeling as though you're between states, that's where most of the illumination will come in for you. And I have to tell you, that could also be dreams. Last night, boy, oh boy, I tell you, I had a deer, a baby deer, as a pet, and I was so happy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I picked the card hope.
Oh.
Your loved ones in the spirit will know when to reach out if they see you are at a low point. Whether you are caught up in a difficult situation or struggling with someone specific in your life, there is always hope.
Uh-huh. Yep, there is always hope. Absolutely. I did not see your question, Bernie girl. I'm sorry. If you can put it up there, we're trying to get these done. I've already got like 6, and we've got maybe about 10 minutes left. So let's see. This is kind of I'm going to pull a couple of different cards for you, Rondell, because this was mostly questions I think about the spiritual path. But, you're welcome to pull a card, Trudi, if you want, but she has a specific question. So I'm using a different pack of cards. Ooh.
Okay, so let me see what I get here.
Okay.
Oh.
You want to go?
So will your finances improve anytime soon? Well, you have to have patience and wait it out, and then it will improve. So you have
Okay.
the cards of celebration, but
Uh-huh.
before that, you have to have patience and
Trust.
ask for inspiration or
Mhm.
and then work towards that goal.
Yep. So what I got for you, Rondell, is there's a male that's important here. I don't know if that's a person that is going to be helping you with the money, if it's a spouse or a son or something. I don't know. I get the male card first, but I see a huge transformation coming. It says to expect changes and new beginnings. I'd say that is cool, because the butterfly starts as a caterpillar, and once it becomes a butterfly, it just it flows away. And then it says material gain. So I would say from the
Yeah,
cards, it looks pretty good. Yeah,
resonates with with what.
it does. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah. So good luck, dear. All right. Glow would like a reading. All right, Glow. I'm going to pull one from the Mystical Oracle Guide. Let's see what we got here. You go ahead, Trudi.
Okay, let's see. So right now you are not too sure about what is happening in your life. There are, many facets to it, but things will come, and light will come out where you will be able to see things more clearly. And it looks like you are facing two choices or two paths.
Mm.
Yeah, and when you apply that, when you look at it straight, sometimes we tend to vacillate, just keep a straight eye on it, and then you
Mm-hmm.
will arrive at a good solution
Wonderful.
and good ending. So I
Mm-hmm.
always love that card, rejoicing, celebrating.
Rejoicing and celebrating. That's wonderful. So I get some glow, something's bringing in your freedom. Look at these. I think they're narwhals, these beautiful big fish here. But freedom is coming to you because you have been wise. You're the wise one. It looks like a face, but actually it's an owl with different planets there. So, but it does look kind of like a face with a beard, doesn't it? But you're wise person, and that wisdom will bring you much joy. So, and look at that. There's the dragonfly, which means joy. Wow, that's awesome. That's wonderful. I just went back and noticed Mousy said that they just did a gag order on Trump in New York, and I went, yay, thank you. Thanks for letting us know. Uh-huh. All right. No, you get down now. Stop. All right. A reading about your grandbabies. Okay. Just a general reading about a message for your grandbabies. Okay, we can do that. I'm going to pull Mother Mary cards, I think. How about that? Beautiful. All right, go ahead, Trudi.
Oh, okay. Grandbabies. Well, let me pick this one. Well, I pick this soul power. Always remember you are a soul that comes with a body, not a body that comes with a soul. Your soul is your true essence, and you have an unlimited supply of soul power at your command whenever you need it.
Wow.
Soul
Beautiful. Yeah, that's wonderful. So I ended up pulling Our Lady of the Sacred Son, SON. And it says, within your heart is a love that is unconditional, compassionate, and healing. From that love emerges wisdom and the capacity to make choices based on what holds essential meaning and value to your soul. It takes courage and strength to live your life authentically and honestly. And even if resistance arises at times, you can trust that only goodness and grace comes from living in such truth. And so, Sandy, for your grandchildren, I'm going to say that this message to me is saying that you can teach them those gifts that you have just by being who you are and doing what you do, because you will model these things, this strength to live authentically and honestly, to be kind and loving, and make choices based on values and things like that. Being that you're their grandmother, they can look up to you and they can see just how authentically you live your own life. I get goosebumps, honestly. I think you have, the grandmother always, I never had a grandmother. They were all gone before I was born. So I didn't have that grandmotherly wisdom. But I know a lot of people that have had grandmothers that said many times that their grandmother sometimes raised them more than their own mother did. So I'm just going to throw that up there. Oh, good. I'm glad you're I knew you'd be teaching them all the good stuff. There you go. All right. So Rossi says a reading for October. So yeah, we'll pull a couple of cards for you. I'm going to pull from the uh, Buddha reading cards for you. Mm. Rossi, I got a truth card for you. It says letting go. Some of us think holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it isn't holding on, it's letting go. It means allowing things to be as they are without constantly struggling to control the outcome or continually reminding yourself of an unhappy past event or a negative emotion. Simply live in the present moment is what it's counseling you to do. And try not to, rehash all the stuff from the past. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, so what I get is at this time, well, for October, it's good to go within yourself, retire to your inner silence, look at your situation and everything in your life, applying the the sense of intuition, and and then you will arrive at. For me, the world card is always, yeah,
The world's at her feet.
yes. I
That.
see a really
Yeah.
good October for you from the
Oh,
cards drawn.
that's wonderful, Rossi. Enjoy it, honey. It's a beautiful time of the year anyway. And now, if it's going to go well for you, you need to remember that and enjoy, live in the present. There you go. So, Lena, we are not doing really readings for lots of other things. So we'll pull some cards that we do have for this particular topic that we're doing today, and we will give you a message. So let's see what we can come up with. How beautiful. Go ahead, Trudi.
Okay. Well, the next 4 months, whatever you have in your life is going to move at quite a fast pace, and even your whatever issues you are dealing about will be surfacing. So apply the sense of the knowledge, like study the thing really, whatever situation you have in your life really well, and make sure you don't miss out on anything, because there are some hidden things that you should be
Oh,
aware of to avoid any pitfall. So just be very aware.
right. It's interesting because this is kind of the same thing. Be aware of and show gratitude. If you want your life to turn around, be very thankful. It will change your life. It says it's a powerful kindness energy when we express it outwardly by giving thanks for the things we already do have. Our gratitude builds into a feeling of kinship that breaks down all illusions of separateness. So, this is the beautiful card that I got for you today, but it wants you to remember and be grateful. There you go.
Oh, Valerie is sub to this channel. Thank you. That's
Yes, she's
great.
one. Valerie, I'm so glad you got to make it to at least the end of the show. Oh, good, Karen. Lots of love to all of you. Remember, once again, we are all mystics. We all have our own forms of intelligence, spiritual, um, you know, uh, all kinds, just all kinds, because it takes all kinds of us to be in this world. And Trudi and I really, really look forward to working with you on some of these aspects of mysticism as we go forward and work once a month and come back and see you. So thank you
Well,
very much.
there are moments that are like mystical moments, but we don't recognize it as such. I
I know.
remember one such moment. I
Okay.
was in the middle of the street, and then all of a sudden, I see everything like in 3D. It's like the same thing, but the color become deeper,
Mm,
and then I could see things I didn't see before. Well,
yeah.
moments, and I can remember the exact moment where I was,
Yes.
where I came from, where I was going. So those
Oh,
moments are really the
yeah.
mystical moments.
It's almost as though you had a near death experience. Is that, you know what I mean? Because you're seeing
Yeah.
all these things that are unfolding. I had one too, and I'm going to share it because it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I
Yes.
know that okay, so you know that pollen comes off the trees and it's all yellow and it gets all over everything. But I've
Yeah.
never seen pollen coming off a tree. I just have seen the pollen. One time I'm walking in this fir tree is there, and I see all like a big whoosh of pollen come off the tree. And I thought, oh my God, did I see what I thought I saw? And it was amazing to me. Maybe other people have seen it, but I had never seen it ever. And to me, that was a mystical experience
Yes.
because I was able to see the life and the shedding from the trees that were around me. It was amazing. Yeah, it was really fun. This is going to be a lot of fun, everybody. I think Trudi and I are going to have fun anyway. So.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here with us. Yes, thanks, Trudi. We'll
Bye.
see you again
Yeah,
soon.
thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.